attorney-client privilege, and we'll move on. Almost silence right now. I don't know if anyone has someone that's fallen on hard times or passed away. If you do, let us know, but if not, let's have a moment of silence. That brings me forward, especially keep in mind, next month, September, September 11th, a crucial time in our history. So please, a moment. Thank you very much. Okay, Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Susan Crowe.
The crew may well listen to the Lord, should be no shock that I'm here considering what's on the agenda tonight.
Which one?
I congratulate you on waiting until the end of the season to put it on the agenda, but thank you for putting it on the agenda nonetheless. I'm also here to support Inter-Education Partnership. I do this every year. That should be no surprise for you as well. The Inter-Education Partnership does a great job doing many grants for teachers, giving scholarships to students in Henry County, regardless of their GPA, regardless of their economic standing. They are vetted by what they plan to do with their life and how they plan to help and project Henry County. So I think they're a very, I'm prejudiced because I helped found it. I think they're an amazing partnership, and they do a lot for the Henry County students and the schools all across the county. So I'm here to absolutely support them. On other notes, I would like to know when we're going to get an update on our traffic situation in Surf City. And I would like to know when we're going to get an update on any budget amendments so that we're not using our funds incorrectly. Something like that.
Yeah, thank you. The other comments?
It's the one that was submitted online for the noise ordinance. You want me to read it?
Oh, I don't remember. You can summarize if you want.
It is from Daniel Arnold. He, concerning the noise ordinance, the bass levels are too high at the most musical events around the town, especially coming from the Pirates turf. That's essentially what it was.
They said the cut was too high. And he walks through how the speakers are directed out and should be directed in. I actually think he's right. I bet you do too.
I do.
What I read, the only difference between our proposed changes and what Mr. Arnold suggested was on the weekend. I think the decibel level was the same as what we're getting ready to, we got recommended tonight. But he was talking about changing the speakers, but it'll make it less loud for where he is, but it might make it louder for somebody else. So that would be.
Now, what it does is,
Talk about that.
yeah,
This is mayor's minute. Change it up a little bit. Give a couple mayor's minute to have an update of things that have been transpiring that y'all have brought to our attention and wanted us to follow through on. That'd be more productive. Continue on.
Sure. We would like to just update a few things, but first thing I would like to do is I would like to introduce our new building inspector and code enforcement officer. We read this. So I'd like to introduce Doug Skipper. He's at the back of the room here. Doug comes to us with 12 years of service with local government in various roles, including facilities, grounds, and street supervisor. He also has emergency management experience, so that's very helpful, certainly being here at the coast. Before local government, Doug spent 20 years as an outside plant telecommunications system tech. I'll let you ask him what that means. I'm not really sure. He is a North Carolina native and has been a resident of the area for more than 25 years. And he actually married his beautiful bride right here in Topsail Beach at the Assembly Building. So he very much has some ties here to Topsail Beach and hopefully some love. Another fun fact, Doug was actually employed with the town way back in 2013 as a marina attendant. So he started last Monday, hit the ground running. He's already been a huge asset to the community development department and the town as a whole. So I am happy to welcome back Doug to the Topsail team. And if you have the opportunity at some point coming up, I'd love you all to stop by and introduce yourself and give him a warm Topsail Beach welcome. Doug, would you like to say anything?
Well, I just want to say, Topsail Beach is the coolest beach town on the island. You guys do a lot right down here. Obviously, I think you struck a good balance down here, and I'm real happy to be a part of this good team. You got a great municipal team here. I've seen a few now, so I've got a pretty good gauge on that. And if I can be of any help beyond my duties as building inspector, please let me know.
Thank you, Doug.
You're welcome.
Welcome. It's nice to have a full-time. vacancy.
Yes, we're very excited. And then secondly, based on some previous comments that we've had, regarding the new legislation, regarding occupancy tax, as we have said, we've been trying to get kind of to the bottom of that. We had a local act that we weren't sure how that was gonna kind of commingle, so we had to do some digging, but we have finally gotten an interpretation on that, and I'm gonna let Connie explain that to you guys.
Okay, so back in 1984, we had a local act, the Topsail Beach Accommodations Tax. And this act in our section 10 that Rochelle has just put up on the screen for you, it states that under this act, all occupancy taxes so received shall be used only for tourism-related expenditures, which expenditures shall include public safety, police protection, fire protection, public facilities and utilities, health facilities, solid waste and sewage treatment, and the control and repair of waterfront erosion. It shall not be proper for the town to use any of these funds for services normally provided by the town on behalf of its citizens, unless these services promote tourism and enlarge its economic benefits by enhancing the ability of the town to attract and provide for tourists. The Senate Bill 484, our bill that was enacted in 1984 does supersede that, and we are not in violation, nor is Surf City, I believe. We want to let everybody know that. We're glad of that. So. We did have our attorney was very adamant in helping us get that information, and we thank you, Mr. Dodd.
You're welcome.
Another update that we would like to give, not update, but some information there. Certainly since the incident with the fire on South Shore, there was some concern as to, that road being blocked with emergency services and things like that. And one of the concerns was our landing zone, if you were to have a medical helicopter land here. We all know, I think we've probably all seen, unfortunately, that we typically use the intersection of Haywood and South Anderson. Right now there's a vacant lot there, and I guess there's a lot of concern of what happens if that lot's developed and we can no longer use that site. We certainly have backups, rest assured. I talked to Bo at the fire department. He let me know that our primary location is at North Anderson and Haywood Avenue. But if that lot is developed and it renders that intersection unusable for that purpose, a secondary location is down at the intersection of Florida and Ocean, the larger section, not on South Anderson, but on Ocean. And even a third location has been designated down at the, cul-de-sac of Monroe Lane. So, there is a fourth, I'm not even gonna mention it, there's we will probably never get there, but there is even a fourth option. So, these three locations have all the GPS coordinates have been sent in to Pender County Emergency Management, also, with their 911 center. They've even been sent to the, private companies, that do the now a lot of that is on private, unfortunately, like Topsail, things like that. So, but just rest assured, we do have our primary location, but we have many, many backups, if it ever becomes needed. So just want to make sure everybody's rest assured with that.
Thank you. And also to address, some of the traffic issues, NCDOT has, through our planning organization that we're a part of, have come up with several different options that they know that we want to move forward. However, things move slow with DOT. And the ones that we have been identified, number one is the realignment of the it's 210 and 50 interchange, but not necessarily realignment. They're adding another one. So they're going to pull off 210 and come to Medlin Drive. So there's going to be another intersection there that will help relieve some of the traffic from Publix intersection. The other is tied to that. This is a little bit longer range. It is the improvements on Highway 17 coming in. And that will go to a dual lane coming into our 210 and coming through. All that road will be a 4-lane road. The things are going to change, but time is not, on our side. To work on the first item that it has been approved for budgeting, I think it's $24 million for that work. It's supposed to start in 2030. And the third item that's on the boards right now is, I guess, an extension of our road that goes. You remember the IGA had the road in front of it? That might be resurrected again. So we could take a straight shot from our road through tie in, so we could avoid the roundabout and still get to the north section of town. I don't have any report on the traffic monitoring or control.
I can tell you that, DOT wanted to conduct some more studies, of the traffic, especially along the corridor section coming onto the island. And they requested that we hold off on the flaggers, while they conducted their survey. They were able to complete that. We actually just got an email on August 4th, from the engineering firm that's doing that study for DOT. And they were able to complete all of that, but now they need 2 weeks after that in order to do their comparison. So they can see, the 2 weeks of what they did with the signaling and things like that. And they need 2 weeks behind it. So we're still looking at another, week of that. At that time, after that, I think Kyle and I have talked about getting back together and trying to decide if maybe we want to bring back the flaggers at least for Labor Day weekend. But that would probably be the last weekend that we would do it. We do to date with the $30,000 that the board approved for the traffic. We've used $16,000 to date. So we do have some funding left over if we would like to do the Labor Day weekend. So you will likely see them Labor Day weekend. We think it will help to manage the heavier holiday traffic. But that might be the last weekend you see them back for this season.
So the light on the bridge will remain for a while? Because I think that does help.
The light on the bridge has shown, they've got some data to back that up, that it does seem to helps getting traffic on the island. It doesn't necessarily help in, traffic getting off. Helps getting off the island, but it doesn't help necessarily getting on the island. So there's some complaints that, it backs traffic up over the bridge and onto that corridor area with the traffic light there. But it does help to get the traffic off of the island. I think that what we found in our preliminary, non-scientific study, and actually what DOT has found as well, is there just gets to a point where there's so much traffic saturation that it really doesn't there is no answer. You know, we've all brainstormed, not only Kyle and myself, but other, you know, DOTs and other entities, trying to just throw spaghetti on the wall, what we can, you know, talk about. So there are some ideas, and we're gonna continue to write them all down. If you have an idea, bring it to me. We're gonna write it all down and go through it. So even if it seems crazy, bring it to me. And, you know, that's all we can do, but there just gets to a point where there's so much saturation with traffic that I don't, without more pavement and more roads, I'm not sure what else we can do.
But they're gonna resurrect the IGA, right?
Mhm.
Do you mean coming? How's that work?
I have a picture of it. If I can get it up here quick enough, I'll see if you can do that, but.
Yeah, it's hard to.
I can't see it right ahead.
Basically what's gonna happen is where we go to the roundabout, there's gonna be a secondary kind of road that you could go straight towards the IGA without having to enter the roundabout. Well, anybody who would want to go to the north end doesn't have to go into the traffic circle.
What about Kinston Avenue, where all these people are coming from both ways and hogging in? If it's even straight, it's still gonna be a problem.
Yeah, believe me, we've all talked about that being a problem for sure, but, from what I understand, again, I'm not a traffic engineer, so I can't speak to it, but, I said, why don't they close that off? So people don't come into right at the circle, but unfortunately, by closing that off, you push people the opposite way and then into the downtown area where most of the pedestrian traffic is in certain cities. So at this point, that's not what they want to do. They don't want to put the traffic there, but they do know that it's an issue. So
One of the other, service.
Yeah, let's, sorry, yeah, it's a long-term, although that's not a high priority, but it's on the drawing board. Okay, let's go through now, approval of the regular agenda.
I make a motion to approve the regular agenda as presented.
On favor? Aye. Good. Conflict of interest? Alex?
No.
No. Okay.
No.
Approval of the consent agenda.
I can make a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second. Motion to second, all in favor?
Aye.
One question on that, I know the old Christmas trees on the shopping block. You think that's marketable?
I don't know. I'm gonna reach out to our sales rep from our company and see if there is a market for that and see what happens.
If it doesn't sell, where's it go?
Good question. Because it's taking up a lot of room. Yeah.
Just wondering.
Fine.
Yeah, I think this is plastic.
Yeah, it's plastic and metal, so.
Yeah.
Okay, no public hearing. So, item 9. Discuss, consider and vote on the funding request for inter-education partnership.
Hey. Everyone knows Sammy. Welcome.
How's everybody?
Great.
Great. I'm going right to it, okay? Pep Facts. That was established in 2015, thereabouts. It's spawned from an idea of educator and high school scholarship support for Pender County schools by an individual who actually had a child that was in school at Topsail High School, and she wanted to do something beyond the boosters, which is a lot of athletic focus. And she wanted something in more of an academic achievement pathway, not only for the students who excelled on the field and on the court and had straight A's and all of that, but the students that wanted to go to trade school, that wanted to earn a trade or wanted to get a vocational degree, or even a student who maybe was not the best academically, but
wanted to do something. So Pender Education Partnership started out as a small nonprofit organization held by 7 board members at the time, just enough to get it started. And I would like to share with you today that 10 years later, effective last year, May of 2025, we have awarded over $300,000 to Pender County Schools. That is a consolidation of high school seniors who submit an application and an essay to our board for review and approval, but also as a new implemented program which supports educators at the high schools to include staff as well as teachers, librarians, nurses, counselors, anybody that has an idea that is not supported by our district funds in Pender County Schools that would like to do something that would impact a variety of students. It can be a varied age, it can be a varied of the target audience, your STEM students, your robotics team, whatever it may be. So we have allocated over $300,000 as of this point to Pender Education Partnership. Fact number 1, last year, we designated $18,000 in award for educator mini grants. Fact number 2, we awarded $11,000 for senior high school scholarships. Fact number 3, we have put 12 students in a forklift operator certification training program, otherwise known as LIFT, which is a learning initiative for forklift training that we are in partnership with Coastal Pender Rotary and have been since last year. And the 4th thing I want to share is we've recently partnered with what they call Root Ed. Root Ed is a new program that actually is going to help 3rd graders in our area. And it helps 3rd graders coming from out of our area to learn about the different things there are to do, like the Turtle Hospital and Moores Creek Battleground and things of that nature. So we are now a partner with Root Ed, which also is part of Pender County Tourism TDA. The next thing I want to share with you is the need is growing. We are finding more and more students that are reaching out for need, financial need, particularly with the economy the way that it is right now. It's not as affordable for a young person to go off to college and have to have a car or to be able to find a place to live. Lord knows anybody that's seen rent prices around, you have to rent now for $2,000, $2,500. Imagine being a young person, 18, 19 years old, and you're having to go and find a place to stay, not in the dorm, but in an apartment. You sometimes have to have 4 and 5 roommates just to be able to get by. That's the times we're in right now. So there is a need for more scholarships for our high school seniors. In case you do not know this, there are 5 high schools in Pender County. We service Pender Innovative Learning Academy. That is an online / in-person facility for young people who experience behavioral issues, anxiety, mental health. We don't want them dropping out. So there is another pathway for them to stay in school and actually graduate, but not have the challenges of the awkwardness when it comes to social behavior and having to interact and be at a normal, traditional public school environment. Pender Early College High School. That is a dual enrollment program that's facilitated through Cape Fear Community College. I wanted to share with you, I found out today that out of the 250 enrolled students at Pender Early College, as of right now, 120 students come from the east side of this county. They're bused over to Pender Early College every morning at 8 o'clock and dropped off. They stay there until 3:15 in the afternoon. These young people are taking classes that are college credit classes while they're also earning their high school diploma and their high school credits. Not everyone is cut out to be a dual enrolled student. They're missing out on a lot of things like athletics and those extracurricular programs and organizations and things that people typically do in a traditional high school environment because they are geared for excellence. I want to share with you that some of these students have gone on to some very, very, very eloquent universities. We had one that was from the Topsail Beach area, Allie Miller. She was recognized with the Historical Society. She just went not too long ago to Cambridge, to England, to the Art Institute. And she has studied abroad. We had 2 students this summer. One went to Italy, one went to Germany. We've had students go to Vanderbilt. We've had a young lady that got accepted at Harvard. She's also taking classes for Oxford. We have a young lady who went to UPenn. We have a young man that went to University of Southern California. We also have somebody that went to Duke, and we have several that go to Chapel Hill and have been awarded the Moorhead Scholarship. And if you know anything about Moorhead Cane, that is a very, very, very strategic and tedious process, an application, and it is only for the Chapel Hill students. And it is typically a full ride. And we've had 2 students at Pender Early College that have been recognized for Moorhead Cane. So to catch you up on what's going on this side, at Topsail High School, we recently awarded 2 $1,000 scholarships and 4 $500 scholarships. We were able to give $1,000 more to each of the schools this year by what we were able to raise last year. We typically have at least 3 from each school. And if we are able to give more, we definitely do that. For the Heidi Trask High School. Heidi Trask High School, we had 4 scholarships. We had 2 $1,000 recognition awards, and then we had 2 $500 recognition awards. For Pender High School, we had 4. We had 2 that received $1,000 each, and then 2 more that received another $500. And lastly, let's see, the Jones Traywick Scholarship. We had another individual that was awarded a full ride, which is $20,000. That is an endowment scholarship by Mr. Bill Traywick in honor and in memory of his friend that was a minority, and he passed away in a very tragic accident. And he continues to support our young people with their education. He takes 1 student per year and he puts $20,000 in that student, and it's a full ride from the time they start their college education to the time they finish. Mr. Traywick has since decided that there is one young lady, the very first award recipient of his scholarship, he will continue to support as she is now in grad school. She is a teacher. She has her own classroom, and she is now getting her master's. And I have a feeling she's probably going to get a doctorate in education, but he's continuing to pay for that for her because it's not cheap to go to school, especially if you're going to somewhere that is what we consider a high-end elite university. So if you don't believe me, listen to this. My name is Yasser. I come from College Park, Atlanta. I moved to Burgaw to pursue my education. And at Pender High School, I have been able to gain many beneficial experiences through clubs and activities like Beta, the Ford County Leadership Program, as well as varsity football, track, and field. In high school, starting as a freshman during the COVID years, I learned quite quickly that things don't go as you always plan. Growing up in a household with 5 children, 2 who have autism, 1 who needs a kidney, and not having any money, I've learned that things are quite difficult. And you have to make effort to make situations be better, not only for yourselves, but for those around you. I work at Hardee's. Not many people can say that with pride, but I do because I help contribute to pay the rent for my mom and dad in small payments because I know they need it. School and experiences at home have prepared me for a life in college. A scholarship is going to allow me to pursue my education at North Carolina A&T, major in business analytics, and as a dual enrolled student, I will also study some other things at UNCW. This scholarship will allow me to attend and work and do my classwork attentively and allow me to continue to participate in small projects in my community. And one day I'm going to be something. Yasser was one of our recipients of a scholarship. Meet this individual. Both of my parents are school educators, and they've worked all across the county teaching in multiple elementary and middle schools. I myself have attended 5 different schools in Pender County, and I feel like I've gotten the best education possible despite some of the extenuating circumstances. We were displaced during COVID, and we also lost our home during Florence. For these factors alone, this has a paramount effect on my education, and as well, it has made me into a much stronger individual. I am dual enrolled at Cape Fear Community College and take advanced placement classes, so I have learned how to successfully study and manage my time. Throughout my high school career, my peers and I have identified a need for classroom emergency kits in the case of a school shooting. Not that anybody wants to think about it, but these are the times we're in. With the help of the HOSA club advisor and the PTSO and an administrative team at Topsail High, we have been able to supply every classroom with basic emergency essentials and a tourniquet. I also learned about Stop the Bleed. That's the material we received from the nursing staff at Topsail High School. I never imagined I would be able to do something like that and have that experience that would stick with me for the rest of my life as I continue to pursue my career in health sciences. After school, I have decided that I am going to attend Campbell University and major in pre-physical therapy. I'm coming back to Pender County, and I intend to help stop the bleed, and I also intend to advocate for more emergency kits as we continue to face these troubled times. I'm forever indebted to the staff members, coaches, church leaders, and teachers that have got me where I am, and I'm most grateful to PEP for a scholarship. And one more. As one who has moved as many as 9 times in my school years, Topsail High School has definitely proved itself in terms of its standards, opportunities, and a level of care that has been shown from its faculty and community. Topsail makes up its lack of cultural diversity through its expansive education system. All of my teachers from history, English, and band have integrated curriculum with different cultures in mind and have provided students the opportunity to take a deeper dive as they desire more appropriate resources. And as a minority student, I greatly appreciate that Topsail High School puts a focus on diversity. I have made a decision to become a financial advisor. I also want to come back into Pender County and help educate the poor communities about how to become financially successful. Budget planning, setting up workshops, and even helping people at the bank set up an account if that's what I need to do. The teachers at Topsail are very knowledgeable in their field and are dedicated to their students. Their level of care and commitment for the students is evident in their everyday interactions, and they do make everything better. Personally, the band and JROTC has propelled my preparation for continuing my education to allow me to dig deeper and learn about myself. The band has shown me that I love music, and I have now decided I'm pursuing UNCW's music education program, allowing me to share musical appreciation to others around the community, maybe even the country. JROTC has given me spiritual insight into what I need to know, into what I need to do to be a leader and a teammate. All of these lessons I have learned from my experiences at Topsail High School. I can make a genuine difference in the world. That is who receives our scholarships. I can't tell you the countless essays that we get. Sometimes we get 42, sometimes we get 45. I have read stories about abuse at home. I have read stories about financial loss. I've read substance abuse issues. I've read about homelessness. These young people pour their hearts out in these essays, and it is evident that they need financial assistance. I've had the opportunity to be the president of Pender Education Partnership going on 5 years now. And sadly, next year is my last year. I don't know how they're going to do it. I don't know what they're going to do, but I want to go out with a bang. So I'm asking the town of Topsail Beach to continue your support and allocate the $5,000 that we need to continue to do the work that we do, because we are making a difference.
Any questions or comments?
Tammy, I'd just like to
Yes,
share
yes.
thoughts that were in my head as you went through that.
Yes,
It's easy for us to sit here in a very affluent part of Pender County
yes, sir.
to wonder how we benefit from this, because those kids don't live on Topsail Beach. What I would suggest is that we have lots of people who drive across the bridge every day to clean our houses and provide construction services and stuff to support the tourism that we want to have off the beach. Those are the parents of these kids that you're talking about.
Absolutely.
And so it's an indirect benefit, but for the parents to know that they have that kind of support, I think that's a really big benefit to our kids.
I want to make it very clear that Pender Education Partnership is not east side versus west side. We are one county. We are Pender strong. We support students on the west side of the county. We support students on the east side of the county. I realize that there is somewhat of a Mason-Dixon line when you cross the Lanes Ferry Bridge, but the need is honestly the same on this side of the county as it is on the other side of the county when it comes to these scholarships. It doesn't have anything to do with infrastructure. It doesn't have anything to do with what was built in this school, what was fixed in that school. That's not what it's about. I have no control over district funds. I can't decide on what's being done in a capital budget, but I can help drive this, and that's what I intend to do. So if you don't understand that, honestly, it is a full circle, because like he said, a lot of these parents of these young people are your people that work at the grocery stores. They're your bank tellers. They're your car salesmen. They are your people who clean houses and have cleaning businesses. They're your dog groomers. They're only trying to do what they can to afford their child the opportunity to go to school and not have to make the choice between education and earning a living. You want to stand? Please stand. Please stand. Pender Education Partnership was originally started by Susan Croom. She is the originator of this foundation. And I'm telling you right now, my daughter was a recipient of a scholarship for the CNA program. And I got involved because as a single mother, I struggled to help my daughter pay for CNA. And Susan talked me into putting in an application, and I've been hooked ever since. I've been on the board, and I've been the president now for, this is going on 5 years. So it touched me and it made me want to go into action. And I can only hope that the next president will have as much fervor and zest and passion as I do. But
What you said.
I
It's not
can't.
just the students, it's the teachers too.
Yeah.
So all the teachers in Pender County Schools spend a ton of their money, their own money for our kids, that all these kids benefit from. And they come and they send in their little request. I would like to buy 12 client kids so my kids can learn how to do a clock potato check. Here you go. Here's your $150 to buy a bunch of potatoes. It's anything to help the kids learn. So it is on this side of the bridge too, because I was on this side of the bridge when I started it. So it is the side of the
We
bridge.
have a lot of teachers that live on this side of the county that either work in elementary, middle, or high school. And they will tell you every year they go to the Dollar General and they buy supplies to put in the classroom. It can be anything from baby wipes to the tennis balls that go on the bottom of the chairs to extra pencils to whatever it may be. But when it comes to field trips, when it comes to technology, when it comes to books, when it comes to fun things to do in the classroom, they don't always have that extra money. And that's where PEP comes in. They fill out an application, they tell us how much the dollar amount is, and we try to be as even as we can. We give everybody a cutoff period, and we have awarded a lot of money, not only to the high school seniors, but also to the teachers. And when Hurricane Florence came, a lot of the Pender County staff, to include custodians, janitors, teachers, staff members, a lot of people were either displaced, they had flooding or whatever. Instead of doing the educator mini grants, we cut checks. We wrote checks for $300 and we gave 69 checks for $300 right before Christmas. They could do whatever they wanted to do with it. Buy gifts, pay a car, payment, rent, whatever you want to do. We felt like it was the right thing to do. We had the money, so we did it. We've been blessed. We would like to continue to be blessed. If anybody in this room would like to contribute to PEP. It is the easiest thing in the world to do. You can ask Mr. Ed. He knows how. You either write a check to Pender Education Partnership. It can be any amount you want to. It is taxable. It is a tax write-off. You can go to First Citizens Bank. Any of those lovely people down there know our account number. They'll take your money anytime you get ready. We also are fancy enough now that we have an online contribution. You can go online, pay with your credit card. It gives you a receipt instantly to your email, and you can use that as your tax write-off. Any amount of money, any amount of money. We are not going to turn you away. If you are sitting here and you don't have any children, you don't have any grandchildren, you don't have any nieces or nephews, please consider leaving PEP and endowment. That money will continue to go, God forbid, after you're not here, but you will be making an impact and it will mean something. So please consider that as well. Any other questions?
I'll leave you sell this.
You're welcome.
I'd like to make a comment. Not for you specifically, Tammy, it's actually for all the nonprofits that are requesting, it would include Kathy. Philosophically, I'm struggling with giving money to nonprofits. We have 2 requests tonight. We typically get 4 in a year. I believe the purpose of the government is to collect taxes to fund government services. I believe government should do little else. I don't see where funding nonprofits fits into that scenario. Individuals and businesses give to nonprofits, which they obviously do, and it's from their earnings and profits. I have and will continue to give to most of the local nonprofits, both time and money. Tonight I'm going to help Topsail Turtle Project, but I'm not inclined to give money as that has been collected involuntarily from others, and I just don't see how that goes, how that makes any sense. So I'm a no vote on financial giving to nonprofits from the town. Not specifically that one, but all of them, just because I have a philosophical problem with that.
Make a motion, we, $5,000.
Motion to second. All in favor? John?
I agree with Alex.
So we have 3-2. Yes. Discuss, consider, and vote on funding request for historical society of Topsail Island.
Evening. I really enjoyed that speech because it reminded me that what I should have said tonight was different than what I have on my page. I'm Kathy Hart. I represent the Historical Society of Topsail Island. Good evening, everybody. Ally Miller was mentioned, and because of the support we get from the town, we're able to give people, we provided her scholarship this year, as well as 3 other seniors from the Topsail area high schools. We do that every year. And we also provide for the aquarium program from that support every year. And I actually attended one of those programs, and I was so amazed at the input from the children and how much they enjoyed it. I really was amazed. And also, I think we support the Historical Society. So, anyway, okay, I'll read this really boring thing because nothing can say what she said, because she said it from the heart. And that's really wonderful. Thank you. Thank you for that. I'll have to take lessons. Every time I come here, it's a learning experience. Just wanted to thank everybody for the opportunity to be here tonight. And we come before you again tonight to ask for your support. But I want to begin by saying thank you because of what I just said. Scholarships that we provide, the aquarium program, we assist the town in every way we can. We're proud to be part of the Topsail Beach. Our mission is to collect, preserve, and promote the history of the greater Topsail area. and we work hard to make that history accessible to residents, visitors, and future generations. Through the Missiles and More Museum, our programs, lectures, exhibits, and special events, we bring people into the community throughout the year. And those visitors don't just come to visit the museum. They eat at local restaurants, shop in local stores, and stay in local accommodations and enjoy everything Topsail Beach has to offer. So while our purpose is preserving history, we also believe we contribute to the economic and cultural vitality of the community. We also understand that the town does a great deal for us. We are fortunate to operate in a community that values its history and recognizes the importance of preserving it. We don't take that partnership for granted. As you have seen in the letter provided to the council, we are requesting the town continue financial support for the coming year. That fund helps us provide programs, exhibits, educational opportunities. As I said, every year, we award 4 scholarships. And this past year, I believe, they amounted to $16,000, and the year before as well. We're very proud of what the Historical Society has accomplished, particularly as we celebrate 40 years of serving Topsail Islands. But we also recognize that none of this happens alone. It takes the support of our volunteers, our members, our community partners, and the town of Topsail Beach. On behalf of the Historical Society of Topsail Island, thank you for your past support. Thank you for your partnership we have today. And we respectfully ask for your continued financial support in the coming year. We appreciate everything you do for us and for the community we all care so much about. Thank you very much. Does anybody have any questions?
I do. Dawned on me looking at this. I'm guessing the Autumn of Topsail is the largest fundraiser that y'all have. Is that
It has
correct?
been in the past. It's changing this year.
Oh, it
Because
is?
of, because of, the structure, the anticipated structure. So, there must be 100, vendors in that area. I would imagine prior to
Dawn
the.
probably knows exactly more than anybody. Are they having to cut it severely this year?
Not severely, I can't give you the exact number because it's really Pat that
Yeah.
is that. I know we're down maybe 20 vendors. Or so.
I think that, we're only gonna be able to put vendors around the outside of that. So that really cuts it down more than 20.
Well, we've identified additional spaces with
Yes.
10 vendors that.
Well, that's good to hear. It's a little word.
Just one of the things that I don't know that we think about is what the towns, the services they provide with Autumn of Topsail.
Yeah.
Autumn of Topsail, anybody knows, it's my favorite weekend at Topsail. It's fantastic,
Yes.
but do you have any idea what do we spend to support that in, I guess, fire, police? Do we have to pay the outside agencies anything?
We don't pay the outside agencies. They do that under a mutual aid, but we do, provide them food and water and all of that. I've asked, for those numbers. It's generally around $500 for that. But we do have to bring in additional staff for policing, here and patrol. And that usually typically runs about $5,000 for the total event.
And then this year, we're giving them that lot over there, correct?
We are allowing them use of that for, I believe, the vendor parking.
I didn't know that.
Not.
You know off the top of your head about how many spaces we have over there?
And about 18.
I want to make that. Sure. I recognize that the town's special relationship with the Historical Society is more intertwined than most. The town uses the assembly building. Autumn of Topsail uses the empty lot, parking lot, extra police resources. I would suggest in lieu of financial assistance, we let the town manager and the president of the society come up with an equitable agreement regarding our needs and theirs.
Oh, yeah.
And I would like to recommend that we go back to what we gave in 23 and 24, just because we are giving so much in services, and Historical Society is near and dear to my heart. My mom was involved in the start of that and worked with the Port Fisher program, and really too old to be doing that. So it's something that's near and dear to me, but I think y'all aren't in the financial struggle today that you were 10 years ago. You may be 10 years from now. We need to reevaluate, but the town is right now. We got a lot on our plates, and we're trying hard to juggle that with the tax rate. So I'd make a motion that we provide 5,000 and continue with the services we're providing with Alden with Topsail in the parking lot.
There's a motion. Second to that motion. Second. Any further discussion? We vote, all in favor?
Aye.
3-2, passes 5,000.
I'd like to say that the Historical Society is near and dear to my family's heart, and we do support them financially and will continue. And as of tonight, we will also support that financially as well. It's just a personal decision, not a town decision.
Well, thank you all very much.
Thank you.
Okay, number 11, Parks and Recreation with council, no report. Okay, planning board.
Good evening. Listen, I just wanted to give you guys a brief update from the planning board. At our last meeting, we reviewed the proposed wireless communications text amendment that was presented to us and talked proactively about some of the power type structures that we may have to deal with in the town. Because state and federal law provides for the deployment of wireless infrastructure, the purpose is to make sure that the town has clear standards in place governing the location and the design of these facilities. Most importantly, to the extent permitted by law, while still protecting the character of our community. Much of our discussion focused on identifying inconsistencies in areas where the language could be clarified. And our goal is simply to make sure the ordinance is clear, that it's objective, that it's enforceable, and that the applicants understand what's expected so that town staff can administer consistently without unnecessary gray areas. So we found some revisions we asked the staff to take back and make, and we'll be bringing the amended language back hopefully to you at the next meeting. We'll review changes and assume that our concerns have been addressed. We will be back in a position to bring a recommendation to you all next time.
Great.
Any questions?
That's exciting. Glad to hear that. Thank you.
First, I want to thank Julie for doing the report. I've been doing them for quite a few years, and she and I had a conversation, and I asked her if she would step in and take over, and she politely said yes. So very appreciative. I'm also very appreciative of Doug, because that is a relief for me. And community development can start moving like a well-oiled cog instead of just me grandly. But I did want to bring to you guys, I've started working on the flood damage prevention ordinance, and I don't cringe. The new 2026 model ordinance released by FEMA has a significant amount of required language that our ordinance does not contain. We have not adopted a significant ordinance change since 2013, and not having this language could decrease property owners' flood insurance discount, which is currently 20%, and put the town's NFIP rating and standing in jeopardy. Considering the last update that was proposed has been tabled by the board since 2022, we will be requesting that the board send this back to staff so that we can begin the process through the planning board once it's complete.
Everybody understand the request for that?
Send it back to
Do
planning.
we need to make a motion
We
to,
need a motion to do that.
Yeah, and I'm not completely finished with it yet. I've done the majority of the changes. I just need to review the changes that we have made through the years.
to make sure everything's consistent and what's already there is there. I have reviewed the public comments that we received over the several times that we met, and addressed those concerns. If it was recommended language or not required language, I have not included it. It was one of the things that we talked about that, everybody expressly said they didn't want. Everything that's already there will stay there, for the time being. And then, like I said, all the required language has been added. It'll be clearly defined what's required and what is recommended. So,
Can we get a copy of that's been quite a while. We've had many, many crises since then. Could you send us back the language, what you're recommending? So while the planning board's looking at it, we can get back up to speed on it.
yes, once I get done comparing it to our ordinance,
Okay.
you guys can get a copy of it so that you can start running through. And like I said, it'll be one color for required, one color for recommended, and all of that. But like I said, I've not included the language that was very expressly denied by the board and,
But was that federal recommended or was that just locally what we were looking at? As I recall, is you couldn't have more than 100 condition feet on the ground level and anything on the ground level.
if that was recommended, like, I believe we took that out.
I know we took that out,
Yeah.
but was that recommended by FEMA or federal?
FEMA is federal.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
okay, so we have the right to say, sorry, FEMA.
Yeah, recommended, we can just say.
Because I
we're not
think
doing it.
that they were putting us in a really difficult position as far as what most people down here already have.
Yeah, so, but we are very behind in our updates, and if Eric Butrell comes and joins us and takes a look, we can get in control. But I'd like to go ahead and get this taken care of.
So it could,
Steve, just a very quick question. Every a lot of communities here, region are struggling with the situations you've been dealing with. Paramount, a good number of them are some of the things within the FEMA guidelines that reduces the allowed density in certain areas that otherwise would be allowed by zoning that would render certain properties as non-conforming. Do you know whether or not any of the required language would have that impact? And the reason why I bring it up is that it then puts you in a catch-22. You want to comply with these federal guidelines, but then you would also be in violation of the prohibition against downzoning legislature has imposed on us. So I don't want to add to your work. I don't want to add to the complexity of what you're doing already, but unfortunately it is complex.
Right, and this was released after the downzoning and everything else, so I'm sure some of that language has been adjusted. I will reach out to Aaron, and make sure that we are covered in there.
It's not like we have large tracts of land, but we have to be concerned about current zoning. The impact that's there would be to render certain properties as non-conforming.
would it behoove us to have him review it before we send it to planning board?
So it
Be
also,
sure that we aren't doing something that's gonna come back and bite us that we don't see from a legal standpoint.
it will also be sent to our local FEMA rep
Okay.
so that she can review it as well, make sure.
What can we,
But it has to, I don't have it for you, she
Yeah,
has to see it
yeah.
before.
before we send it to her, let Steve go through it and see if there's anything in there that could trip us up. I don't know if we need a motion to send it back to you, or not just go ahead and we have to make these amendments to it.
Being that we tabled it, I
We
would feel
did.
more comfortable if you guys made a motion to
Okay.
send it back.
Can we make a motion to send it to Mr. Coggins, and once he's reviewed it, provide his comments and
Well,
then
you need
send
to
it
send it
back
back
to
to
you?
me first, so I can finish it.
That'll be great.
Can he send it back to you, you finish it, and then you send it to him, and then,
I mean, I think it would be easier than a 3-step process if I finish it and then send it to him and then he gives me comments and then.
then
it goes to planning.
But then can we look at it before it goes to
Oh, yeah.
planning? board?
Is that a motion?
That was a motion, you got that?
A motion, a second. Don't repeat it. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Good.
Can say that Riceville Beach has spent a ton of time on these issues. And they are more than willing to share with us what they've been through and what their recommendations are. That seems helpful.
All the help we get.
Yeah.
Particularly if it's free.
If they, EIS, there was not a meeting, or do you have?
I have a couple of things.
Okay.
As always, I'll be brief. We are gonna have a meeting tomorrow. We didn't have one last month. There's a couple of things I want to bring to your attention. At the end of our fiscal year, the BIS fund had 9.2 million. We started the fiscal year at 6.2, so the gain was 3 million, which puts us, thanks to you guys, puts us on target for having 12 million next year when we have our next project. Our project will be in the fall of 27, going into 28. Inlet maintenance project, probably be a $25 million project, so we need to be positioned to cash flow it and to get it done and then be in a position for any sort of emergency. So really, thanks to you guys for having the foresight to keep that going. The other thing is that we've had a water management testing, and last time we met was on July the 20th. We've reviewed all the information that we put together through the Adora study. We've taken a tour looking at some of the outfalls that are backing up the water. Our own mayor is helping further the cause on Rocky Mount and doing some survey work on that. We're trying to get it into a bundle so that we know for water infiltration, this is a project we need. For tidal backup, this is a project we need, and pull together all of this in terms of what the funding will be required. So we're pushing this down the road a little bit. The other thing is that switching gears here a little bit, TI Coastal has collected all the pre-storm, pre-hurricane season data. They haven't processed it all, but we should be in within a week or so of having new contour maps for the sound and also on the beach, so that we know how much sand we had at the beach before of any potential hurricane. So if we lose sand, we know how much we've lost and what the value is. So we're making progress on that. And the last thing I do want to report is the TISPC next meeting is on August the 27th, but there's a big signing ceremony at Surf City on Monday. Surf City has been pursuing a 50-year coastal storm damage mitigation project for 20 years. And they are just on Monday in a position to sign a project partnership agreement. This is significant to us too, because we're putting sand on the beach. We know we have a north to south lateral flow of sand. By them now having a 50-year project is probably going to be 6 million cubic yards. It's going to help this whole island. And so I would invite you guys to come on Monday at 10 o'clock to help Surf City celebrate this milestone event. It's going to help us all in the end. I think that's all I got. Thank you very much for your time. Any questions?
I would like to ask everyone in this room to share with your friends and neighbors and anyone that's interested in what's going on, that our new water management task force is working extremely well with BIS and with our board. Real work's being done, and we're going to get real answers and real projects going for flood mitigation that comes with king tides and all that. Y'all are doing great work and things are happening. So we're not kicking the can down the road.
Thank you for that. And I do want to recognize Tom Hedrick in Public Works. Those people are opening the doors. They're working with us. They're excited about moving forward. So thanks, Tom. And I think we're making a progress.
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
So it sounds like Surf City may be starting their project. We're doing our renourishment in a year and a half. Will that have any impact on us? I don't know if TI Coastal's involved. Will they be getting sand from anywhere we're getting sand from, or?
Their 50-year project, all the sand is coming offshore on Hopper Bridge. And the offshore borrow site is off of Leon. So they're going to transport it all the way up there past us. Whether that's going to have implications for us down the road, I don't know. But adding more sand inventory into the system will have some impact.
Because we'll get that sand eventually, right?
Eventually.
Yes, but it's really good.
The gift that keeps giving us.
It's really good for the entire island because, as we all know, we believe in, stormwater rise. And if you believe in hurricanes and bigger storms, coastal resiliency is what's gonna keep us together in the future.
Mr. Mayor, may I ask a short question? Thank you again. I just received an invitation. I think it's gonna be within the next couple of weeks of a ceremony that's gonna be at Surf City. That acknowledges their signing on with the Corps of Engineers for 50-year FEMA Beach Coastal Resilience Plan. And I was wondering if your committee has discussed the potential impacts that would have on future projects for the town. Like, for instance, on the plus side, maybe sharing costs, doing projects all at the same time that would leverage the economies of scale, and also how would it impact our current sand sources.
I would say that all of that is on the table. But right now, we are dealing with the world we've been living in. 3 years down the road, when we contemplate those impacts, we'll have a chance to reevaluate that. It might be with more sand in the system that you have more frequent cleanouts. If you have more frequent cleanouts, how do we share that burden and how do we distribute the sand on the island? I mean, we've had
more sand in the system. What does that mean? How does that happen?
Well, the sand that is coming in with the coastal storm damage mitigation project is being borrowed offshore and brought onshore. What we've been doing is taking sand out of the inlet and putting it on the shore.
So all I know, Surf City's contemplating using that source as well.
No one said anything official about that, but maybe I'll be around BIS 3 years and we get to talk about that. But it's a great thing. It could open up a different scenario. I can tell you one thing. In 1976, my family in Sandbridge, Virginia, has bulkhead on the ocean. 1982, they got a 50-year CSDM project, and that bulkhead's under 12 feet of sand. That's the implication.
Where was that?
In Sandbridge Beach, Virginia, all the north end properties, a couple of mile and a half of bulkheaded on the ocean. And that's all that.
Any further questions? Thank you, William.
Thank you, Mr.
Sarah, update on the public safety building.
So we are now meeting every 2 weeks, and we actually just had a meeting this morning, so this is all hot off the press. It appears that we have pretty much everything we need, to issue a building permit. The plans are with the contracted building inspector now. He's reviewing them, so we anticipate being able to issue our building permit here shortly for the project. Thomas Construction has started to prepare the tower to be used as their construction office, their on-site construction office, as the construction happens. DOT permit has been submitted on July 20th, and they have 30 days to turn that around. So right now, we're just waiting on that one. But the big permit that we're waiting for is our DEQ permit. We had previously submitted that. They had some comments regarding the stormwater system. We made the changes that they wanted, that they requested, and we've actually sent that back in on July 22nd. Although they didn't actually, formally accept it until August 3rd. We are using the quick permitting option, but so is everybody else. So I don't know how quick that will actually be. But we don't expect any additional comments. They've already had their one pass at it. We believe that they'll be able to issue it without any further changes or modifications. So we're hoping to have that permit to us around Labor Day timeframe is what we're looking at. So right now, the target date to begin construction is September 14th. But again, that's all subject really on the DEQ permit. We do have to hold up for that. So that's where we are right now.
That's great. Long haul, finally getting there.
We're at the finish line.
Groundbreaking.
We talked about that today. Yeah, we are talking about a groundbreaking ceremony, so, we're hoping to finalize those details and we'll have that information out to the public.
Okay, thanks. Item 15, discuss considering vote on noise ordinance. Yes?
All right, so, we've been discussing this for, a couple of months, obviously based on some public comments. Staff was directed to kind of go back to our current noise ordinance and try to see if we can address the comments, which really initially were, the decibel level is set too high. And the time at which the decibel level could be elevated was too late. So, we had, staff had come back, I think at the June meeting in order to bring some of those amendments to you. After further discussion at that meeting, that was also asked that we try to look at how we can address the base frequency, that low level frequency that isn't necessarily captured with the way that the ordinance is written today. And I have found out a lot more about noise than I ever want to know, but basically, I guess I'll kind of try to tell you what I figured out. We have a noise measuring instrument. That noise measuring instrument can measure different types of sounds. We have the A weighting scale, which is what we've been using. And that basically will measure the sound that sort of matches how the human ear hears it. And then there's a C weighting scale, and this is the one that basically measures that lower level base frequency. So thankfully, I've been able to work with, where'd he go? Chief Llewellyn. He has been very instrumental in this and trying to look up information. He found that the scale that we have, the noise metering system that we have, can do both A and C. So what we did was we added those definitions. You'll see them in red in your packet. And then we also changed or added, I should say, some of the decibel levels for the C rating. Now, I will tell you that I'm not a noise expert. I don't know, I'm sort of just giving it my best shot here. I did a lot of digging and to see what other ordinances had. I can tell you right now that having a C-rated decibel weighting is not common at all. Certainly not at a beach community. The only three ordinances that I found, I'm not saying this is it, but the only three I found is the bigger town, the bigger communities, Raleigh, Greensboro, and Charlotte. I chose Raleigh, I looked at theirs, and the only reason I thought was because I found a memo that they hired a sound specialist. I figured if the sound specialist suggested it, then that's probably where we should at least start. So that is, and also not only that, but it was already in line with what we had proposed. So anyways, this is really just my best guess. I would like to, Chief Llewellyn and I had talked about the possibility of the next time that there's some sort of a event, a band or anything like that, to do some tests so we can see kind of where it does fall in line with what we're proposing. We are towards the end of the season, as Susan pointed out. Personally, I would like to see us be able to look at this a little bit further, maybe do some testing before we adopt it. But we certainly have that option to adopt tonight, and then we can always make adjustments later if that's how you would like to go. So that's where we're at.
We got the concert in the park in, could we use it then and just see?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, and again, just to kind of see with where it falls with what we have proposed, because I truly don't know what that's gonna sound like.
Common sense says what Danny Arnold said is correct. If you have your speakers facing out like that versus facing in, it's gonna have a big impact on the sound. And I've said it before, I was stunned at how loud, and it's not even loud, the thump of that bass is at 10 o'clock at night. It made me crazy. It's very similar to the sound when they're putting in pilings
Hmm.
at a house right beside you.
I understand. And I do want to say that I did reach out to the local businesses to let them know that this was on the agenda, that it was going to be discussed, and I, encouraged them to either attend, or send in any kind of comments that they have. So, I did make them aware that it was being discussed this evening.
And there, there were no examples of, the difference between a and a C in terms of decibels. You gave examples, of what you would hear, but that covers just
Just the A.
that's just the A.
That's correct. You're right. Again, it was very difficult to find a lot on the C weighted decimal system. It just was. So, but, again, that's just my research. I think that's why I would prefer I would prefer that maybe we hold off on actual adoption until we can do some tests to see how close we are with what we're proposing.
We have the ability to read the C weight.
We do, yes. Yeah, like I said, thankfully, Chief Llewellyn has been very instrumental in helping with this ordinance and also, the capabilities of the instrument that we have.
I'm concerned about the 80 decibel sea level, at 11 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
If it carries through from C to A, A to C, that'd be tough.
Yeah, and it is different, it's not, so 60, dBAs and 60 dBCs are very different.
Yeah.
But, again, I, from what my research is, from what I can tell, the Cs, there's a filter on the sound meter. They apply some sort of a filter that kind of makes it more of a even flow of sound, rather than the sharp ups and downs that your ear hears traditionally. So again,
So what you're saying is it averages out the high and low, thump, thump, thump.
yes, there's a filter. Apparently there's some sort of filter that's applied, that helps to even out the sound. And it does, I don't know how it measures that thump thump, but it evens out the sound.
Now, we got
The
a
thump,
result
thump
there because that doesn't really get you, any improvement in what people perceive.
Again, I would agree with you, and hence the reason why I think that we still need a little bit more research, and maybe some field work before this is adopted, in my opinion.
You mentioned that you used Raleigh as the basis of theirs. Is that where that heat came from?
It is, but the reason why I agreed that, Raleigh is a whole different place than here, but the reason why I did that was because their DBAs were already very similar to our DBAs.
But
And
we're
what we were
proposing our
proposing-
DBs, our Cs be higher.
But that's how it's, again, I'm not a noise ordinance, but that's our expert, but that's sort of how it is. The As are in the ones that I've seen, the As are lower than the Cs.
We just got to see.
Again, field testing.
I don't want to misinterpret your research. I mean, when you said you read Raleigh's ordinance, that was exciting to me. I mean, I've used that word a lot tonight, but do we agree that it's more important for a small town to get the noise issues right than it is a really large metropolitan city? I mean, Raleigh, there's more than 1 million people in their TVA now. They're more complex, their issues are more complex, 1 million to
Oh, I would agree,
10,
100%.
but I mean, just common sense tells me it's more important for the small town to get the noise ordinance right than it is noisy Raleigh.
Yeah.
Does that make sense or?
It does make sense. It just doesn't seem that the DBC is addressed in
Because we're not
most
sophisticated
noise
enough
ordinances.
in these really small towns to get to those issues.
Well, we're getting there, I'll tell you that.
I don't,
But what we're proposing is higher, it looks like, than what they have in Raleigh.
DB,
So to me, the easier thing would be to lower to where they are they're at 70 and 75 from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. Sunday through Thursday, and 10 to 11. So they're the same during the week as the weekend, correct?
Yes.
So
And
we're,
again, we could also, you know, make some amendments here that you.
and
are
that's what I'm gonna say. I would much rather
Take
make
measurements on
them
those.
overly low and come back and raise them than to approve it and it still be as loud and obnoxious as it's been. Because it's easier, I think, to bump them back up than to dial them back down.
Sure. And we also have Labor Day coming up, so that might be a time at which, you know, there'll be some bands that we can do some more field testing with.
I'd like to make a comment that piggybacks on what Commissioner Bass said in relation to us versus Raleigh. I kind of doubt that there are people living in the commercial districts in a big town. Whereas we have residents living above their businesses. I almost wonder if we should just have one ordinance for the entire town because there's no area where people don't live. They live in the commercial district. And the sound impacts them the same as it does the people in the residential district.
Conversation.
That is a big difference between us and bigger towns. Where commercial districts, I think residences are prohibited. They're zoned, you cannot stay you can't, live in a commercial district, I think. Yeah. So that's something we might want to consider, is just having one ordinance, one district, one zone instead of two zones. And, 11 is kind of late for Sleepy Topsail Beach.
Yeah.
Well, and again, I think this is the time where we can make some adjustments from suggestions, from the board, and then kind of use those as field tests.
I don't really want to see it 80, which is described as very loud and aggressive
No, yeah.
anywhere in the town, anytime. And we've got that in the commercial zone and the residential zone.
So you want to lower the overall limits, is what I'm hearing.
That would be my thought.
Okay. Test all those out. What about the timing?
But we lowered from 11 to 10. One point.
During the week.
Yeah, during just Sunday through Thursday. Again, that was based on public comments.
This might sound stupid, but I just remember being at Quarter Moon and I never thought that music was loud, but that music was always shut down. Weekends, 10
That
o'clock or
was
9
a
o'clock.
police officer that's no longer with us that did that on a regular basis.
I would like to say Quarter Moon was the first to get our warning under that when we started using but we would kind of sneak in and tell them, we try not to make a big deal of it, but they were in violation a few times.
So what's the difference between that and what we're talking about? It's louder. It's putt-putt. I mean, it's almost like
The bass, and we, the first ordinance had A, and even me, measuring on C, I couldn't even tell you anything to compare it to, because we haven't measured anything under C, but supposedly A is more what we hear with the ear, and C, measures bass.
Is that B? And that to me, as in Cream, Utah, is that bass boom, boom, that's to me more obnoxious than the music. Okay, you just like them all.
it just seems like we keep giving the putt-putt a break over what we enforced at Quarter Moon. That's the way it seems to me.
Get a warning, the Quarter Moon, I know they got a warning because I got attacked in Lowe's because they got a warning from that owner who was a very good friend of mine, so it's quite amusing to me that she got mad at me about it, but a lot of their problem was the band was playing very loud and dancing in the street. So they caught a lot more attention than the putt-putt did from the DJ, okay?
Right.
The
Okay.
And the
difference,
streets are on the bars.
they were putt-putt probably, I don't know, but I know they were in the street.
We keep the decibel spread from 7 o'clock to 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock, the same in the commercial district from Sunday through Thursday and Friday and Saturday.
So no real difference
No.
between the week, the entire week, the same.
Yeah.
7 to 10.
There's really no difference here between commercial and residential.
Yeah, it's not.
We're all the same.
And, the time, you wanna drop it from 11 o'clock and lower, and you want to hit. Yeah, after that.
And Nancy, you asked about the bass. The bass is bad. The DJ on the microphone talking and getting around the crowd to reset the rest of the lyric
Right.
who do not carry a tune, that's equally as bad. So I can't say one's worse than the other.
I think 75 to 80 is too much. 75 is allowed.
We don't, yeah.
We don't, the problem with waiting is by the time we make a decision next meeting, the summer's over
I'll send you a
and
bill for my
the
trip.
it's closed for the rest of the year. But that's not like we know enough about decibels.
So look at the chart she provided is 70. Conversation difficulty, raised voice needed.
That's for decibel A, not
Yeah.
B. We don't really know what decibel C 80 sounds like.
How
That's
about,
why we, and to answer Commissioner Best's question, Put wasn't given any type of rate. We're just trying to figure it all out. The times we measured, and it could be because there's, if we measure on Anderson side, there's, the building. If we went to where it's open, it might be higher. There's just a lot to it. We're trying to take all the subjectivity out of it and just trying to figure it out.
And did
That's
you
a lot.
measure C at all under there?
We never have, because it wasn't in our ordinance.
so what I would suggest, and try, again, this is just my suggestion, you're obviously, but I understand that we want the overall levels lowered. I think instead of trying to sit here and pick, if we're not gonna adopt tonight, instead of trying to pick one, I understand we want it lowered. Maybe just allow, us to do some field testing and try to base some kind of formulated, draft based on that. Again, we've never done C testing, so this will be brand new for us. I don't even know where to start with C testing, so. This might be helpful to do some field testing. We can lower the overall limits when we come back with the draft. Also, we'll have our field testing results. And then, as I'm hearing, you guys want to have the, times 7 to 10 PM and cut off at 10 PM, Monday through Friday.
I
or
think
Monday
that's
through
more,
Sunday.
because like Larry's and Ohana, some of their music goes 7 to 10, and they may play a little bit over.
If it's 10 o'clock. It's 10
Full
o'clock.
plug. All right.
Well, I mean, that's always based on complaints as well.
I think we need to table this till next meeting and let them do the research on the decibel C. And we may just decide to drop the commercial zone and just monkey around with the residential timeframes and numbers. I mean, I don't know. That sounds like we have enough information to make a decision about decibel C.
Well,
Well-informed decision.
and if we're gonna make the time zones all the same, then there really isn't a lot of distinction between residential and commercial. So we could propose.
Why don't you just do them exactly the same as 7 in commercial, 7 to 10:30, same as it is in residential?
You want 7 to 10:30 or 7 to 10?
I'd say 10:30.
Well, the residential goes 10:30 on the weekend, so from Friday, Saturday night. So
Yeah.
just drop the commercial zone and maybe figure out what decibel C is supposed to sound, what it sounds like and whether or not it's that much bumping with the 80. We don't know what 80
The time.
decibel
But
C sounds like.
again, 75 decibels where it says significantly raised voice.
Yeah.
I'll be honest, I've been to some of the music venues down here where you just had to walk outside the fenced in area because the music was too loud.
Yeah.
Last time you were there, the music was so loud you had to walk farther away.
Why don't we let them do their testing about X months or have a motion to table this?
So move.
Second.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Table to next month.
All opposed.
Discuss and consider and vote on the technical amendment section 1-6, enforcement code.
Sure, and I know we've had some recent, potential or proposed changes to this, but in essence, what this is, at the July meeting, we, did a lot of text amendments. We approved a lot of text amendments, to the town code ordinances. And, kind of like dominoes, you know, one change, and you try to catch it all, but inevitably you miss something. So we did, come back to realize that section 1-6F needed to be amended, so that there was, no inconsistencies with the newly adopted, amendments from last month. You do have your draft ahead of you, but then I think that there's been some further changes from Attorney Coggins.
They were all, technical amendments or no substantive changes.
So do we need,
I was making sure. The changes. Anyone
I
have
make
any?
a motion that we move forward with the changes as done by Mr. Coggins.
Second.
A motion and a second. Any discussion? Let's have a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And, yeah.
Thank
Like we're gonna be, or come in under the, First City. timeline.
Thankfully.
You'd be here by yourself.
I know everybody feels the morning.
Start at 6 p.m.
You're welcome.
Any of us will do
And Carolina Beach used to have a civil liberty.
Bringing in about harbor barge. Okay, so we won't be having all that shit. Right, so it's gonna come. Okay.
Wow.
Won't happen here. Our staff would get up, guy.
Number 17, manager and attorney report. Mr. Attorney.
Mr. Mayor, in addition to the duties which I've been doing in your presence, working on refinements to the animal control ordinance regarding specifically chickens, for your consideration next month. I've been assisting the town manager with respect to, a vexing problem with respect to the administration of the ITEX, eradication of particular residents, and, advice to staff regarding the occupancy tax and the scope.
Keeping you busy.
Yes.
I don't have anything additional other than what was in my report unless you have questions, but, I did send the, DOT, proposed DOT drawing for the circle, the amendment. So I wanted to show that to you because I know I said I'd find it. There you go. So as you see where the red line is there, instead of going through the circle and go to the north end, essentially you would be able to take that, straight through road. That would take you to the street, the stoplight there, and go to the north end that way. They're trying to keep, so many cars out of the right of way, the right of way. So anyway, I just wanted to show that.
Why do you have that up? I spoke with one of the commission, councilmen in Surf City, and one of the ideas they had, as opposed to closing Kinston, which appears to be objected to by numbers, is to preventing left turns when you're going north on South Shore, so that you can't jump in line. So that's one way of skinning the cat, so to speak, possibly.
And basically that would be that the people who are in that parking lot can come out and get into the line to get into the circle. But you can't get out of the line, go down the Ocean Road and jump back in ahead of people. That's what that is. Hopefully it's gonna stop. Yeah. But anyway, that's that. This is all public information, so.
Has any extended observation been made from the traffic coming from the north? That is just, every time I go through that circle, there's a line just pouring in, and they will cut ahead of you. You're coming around the circle and they will cut ahead in front of you and you slam on brakes. But the north traffic coming from the north is just, I don't think anybody's considering that, and it needs to be looked at seriously.
Well, I mean, I think that they're looking at all of it, but you are correct. I mean, the traffic coming into that circle. is-
Nobody wants to go across the north bridge, so they all come.
Well, I happened to go have dinner up there this week. And we had gone around to get to rest on the other side of the circle. And we came back, there was no traffic basically coming to the circle. But when we got around the circle, coming back this way, it was backed up to the tennis court. And it was because people were coming around, bumming in, they come through IGA, they come through there and come and turn around and get right back in and nose in and cause problems. I'm wondering, it's a wonder somebody hasn't had some real problems up there.
I agree. They are trying to find solutions to ease that traffic. Again, it's one bite of the apple at a time. They have removed all the pedestrian traffic. That's helped a lot as well. The pedestrian traffic that was, in the circle, the crosswalks and all that. They've removed that, and it is their intention to keep that closed for good. So that's one of the other, ways. They're little things at a time, but it's helping.
How about it around about on the other side?
They haven't restricted that traffic yet.
Bicyclers and strollers and dogs. It's an accident waiting to happen.
Sure is.
That's all I have unless there are questions.
We're up to,
That's on your parking thing, the interior lots, that lot right here.
That's the one lot,
Is that
that's
one lot?
interior. We've categorized it as interior in case there are others that come along that are in the same category. We just wanted to make sure we pulled that one out so we could see.
The public comment.
yeah, let's get it. Other comments?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm not gonna say what I'm gonna say, because you already know how I feel about it, because it's all over my face. What I do want to say is congratulations, Tim Llewellyn. Very happy to see you as our interim. I hope that you will make him permanent. That is my biggest recommendation that I can give you, other than the ones that you already know. Congratulations. Well deserved.
Thanks for holding your tongue.
You're welcome.
It's got a big hole in it right now.
Oh, good man. Okay, Mayor and Commissioner report. John, sorry you.
Just want to remind everybody that Congressman David Rouser will be cutting the ribbon Monday, 10 a.m. Right next to the Surf City Pier for their beautiful new beach renourishment project. And you can be there, support what they're about to embark on. I know they would appreciate it.
I'm fair for people parking.
Those are the questions.
It's gonna be here. Right up there.
And you can probably get that covered for us, can't you?
Thank everybody for coming out and watching online. I want to say one thing about the turtles. I wore a shirt for this reason. As most of you know, it's turtle nesting season. I want to make a shout out to Debbie and Andy, who are the Topsail Beach coordinators for Topsail Turtle Project. Currently on the beach every morning and every night since about mid-July, and they will continue that to the end of August. So they're taking naps midday to make this all happen. This year, there have been, to this point, 145 nests. That's the third highest on record, I think, in the most since 2019. We usually average 98. So, and there are 34 in Topsail Beach. So just keep that in mind. If you have a home near the ocean front or on the ocean front, keep your lights dim. Those little hatchlings will head for your house. They won't see the moon, especially when there's a new moon. So when we had that happened 2 weeks ago, they just went, somebody shot off fireworks of all things, right as they were coming out, and they just went everywhere. So if you could, help the little turtles get in the ocean.
I just want to shout out to John Gunner. I just will acknowledge I was against paid parking. So far this year, we've made 205,000. So, John, it was a good idea. Secondly, Well, and we've still got, and that's this calendar year, even though we're on a fiscal year, it's just too hard to think fiscal year. And I also want to second welcoming, Chief Llewellyn to your first official Board of Commissioners meeting. I know it's been a blast, and I think we've gone out of our way to make it a fun and exciting first week for you.
John?
So for those of you who don't even know what the Cape Fear Council of Governments is, just know that I'm your representative in that body, which provides various kinds of support to municipalities in the 4 counties around us. And so I attend their board meetings every once in a while. I did this week, and I have a page worth of report written out. But I'm going to skip that, considering what we've been through tonight. And I just wanted to give you the bottom line on that was that this month, the Council of Governments had to select a new attorney to support them. And they pointed out that they interviewed 3 very competent, well-established attorney firms, and they selected Roundtree Losey as their firm, with Steve Coggins mentoring JD Fisher as the primary attorney. So I think they made a really good choice there, and I told them that. Congratulations, Steve.
Thank you, Commissioner Gunter. I was not aware of that. It's very gratifying.
You hadn't done much mentoring then, right?
Then I wasn't aware of Commissioner's input.
Came after your selection was announced to the board.
I appreciate everyone coming out. I think we did some good things tonight. I know everybody doesn't agree with maybe us giving money to nonprofits, but I think we are a town and we're part of and we're part of the community. So I think giving back to the community is important as well. So thank you guys for joining.
Lance, I again appreciate everyone showing up tonight. It was a kind of a streamlined agenda, but we got through it. There were some couple little stumbling points, but I think it went well. And we're always through the summer, and it's been kind of a challenge in some cases. And I think our biggest takeaway for the summer is the traffic, and it's not going to go away. And so we'll have to see how we deal with it. But and a couple of other little issues, but we still live in paradise. And again, Chief, welcome. You got your hands full. I think you're up for the task. I think it's great. Thank you all for coming. I need a motion to adjourn.
Make the motion, we adjourn.
Second. Motion second, all in favor?
Aye.
Adjourn.
Actually,